The teeth trouble in Esit Eket. Once upon a time, in the sunny and peaceful village of Esit Eket, everything looked perfect. The houses were painted bright colors, the streets were always swept, and every villager wore a big smile when they greeted one another. It was the kind of place where everyone shared fresh fruits from their farms, and every evening the children gathered in the village square to watch the traditional dancers. But underneath all the happiness, there was one problem. And it wasn't in the streets, it was in their mouths. You see, while the village was clean and tidy, most of the people in Esit Eket didn't take care of their teeth. Some brushed only once a week, others brushed only in the morning, and some didn't brush at all. Take Mrs. Etim for example. She was the village baker, famous for her soft bread, sweet cookies, and fluffy cupcakes. But guess what? She only brushed twice a week. Her teeth were always coated with sugar and crumbs. Then there was Mr. Okon, the bus driver. He loved sweets. All day long, he licked lollipops, sucked on sugary sweets, and chewed bubble gum as he drove around the village. But brushing? Not even once. Not in the morning, not at night, not ever. And what about the 9-year-old twins, Ini and Obong? They were playful and cheerful, but every night they forgot to brush their teeth before bed. "We're too sleepy," they will mumble as they pulled their blankets over their heads. Even Grandma Idara, the eldest woman in the village, believed that brushing once a week was just fine. She would smile proudly and say, "My teeth are strong enough. No need for all that fuss." At first, no one noticed. They were too busy enjoying their cupcakes, watching traditional dancers, and listening to Chief's bedtime stories. Life seemed sweet. But then, something strange started happening. Mrs. Etim stopped baking. Her teeth ached so badly. She couldn't chew, taste, or even smile without feeling pain. The villagers complained, "Where is our morning bread?" Mr. Okon, his breath became so stinky that the children on the bus began to cover their noses and sit near the windows. Some parents even refused to let the children ride with him anymore. Ini and Obong began crying at night. Their teeth had turned yellow and some were starting to wiggle. They couldn't even enjoy roasted corn anymore without discomfort. And poor Grandma Idara, she was losing her teeth faster than the wind could blow. And the few she had left were dark and hurting. She sat on her veranda every afternoon, wiping tears from her eyes. The whole village of Esit Eket was miserable. Their smiles were fading. Their laughter had gone quiet. No more bread, no more sweets, and far too many toothaches. So the villagers marched to the palace of the Obong Idong, the village chief. "Please, Your Highness," they cried. "We are in pain. We need help. Can't you speak to the neighboring village and bring their dentist here?" The Obong Idong, dressed in his fine wrapper and red cap, listened carefully. Then he nodded and said, "I have heard you. Tomorrow I will go myself." True to his words, the next morning, The Obong Idong traveled to the next neighboring village and returned with a guest, a kind-looking man in a white coat and glasses. It was Dr. Ekom, the friendly dentist. That evening, he called everyone to the palace courtyard for a health talk. With the crowd gathered around, Dr. Ekom stood tall and spoke with a smile. Your teeth are like superheroes, strong and brave, but even superheroes need help. If you don't brush it, little sugar bugs make holes in your teeth and your teeth get sick. The villagers gasped. Wait, said little Obong, raising his hand. You mean brushing is like giving your teeth superpowers? Dr. Ekom laughed gently. Exactly. When you brush your teeth, you are giving them a shield, a shiny, invisible shield to fight off sugar bugs. All you need is to brush twice in a day, once in the morning after breakfast and once at night before bed. He continued, your toothbrush is your weapon. Your toothpaste is your power. Use them well. He looked out over the villagers and added, now, if you are in pain, I will see you one by one, starting today. So one by one, the people lined up. Mrs. Etim was the first, then Mr. Okon, then Ini and Obong, and finally, Grandma Idara. Dr. Ekom gave each of them gentle care, medicine, and special advice on how to keep their teeth strong. And from that day on, everything changed. Mrs. Etim began brushing her teeth every morning before baking and every night before bed. Her bread became even more delicious and her smile lit up the bakery. Mr. Okon gave up sweets and carried mints instead. The kids loved his fresh breath and began singing songs with him during their morning rides. Ini and Obong made a brushing game where they brushed for 2 whole minutes to the sound of the village drum beats. And Grandma Idara? She danced in her yard, showing off her new toothbrush to anyone who passed by. Soon, the village of Esit Eket was filled with sparkly smiles, fresh breaths, and laughter once again. The chief was so proud. And from that day forward, the people never forgot. If you don't brush your teeth, they get sick. The end.